Welcome guys, it's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV. We're joined by Barry Jones, former world champion. So when did you get here exactly?
Yesterday, so that'll be Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Okay, same as me. So did you see the public workout then?
No, I didn't miss the public workout. So I seen the press conference yesterday.
Yep.
Interesting, and obviously the weigh-in we just seen today. So yeah, I missed that. I'd seen a bit of I seen it on YouTube, of course, the public workouts. But I didn't really get to didn't see it live, unfortunately. But this setting here, which I think is where it was, fantastic. A lovely square, boiling hot. Plenty of people in the crowd to watch it. It was great.
Did you expect it to be this hot? Because I know the media in Britain, they tell us that you think Poland's going to be very freezing and snowy.
Yeah, well, I think traditionally that's what you see it as, but I think, luckily I got a phone, and on that phone you can check, I think on Google, and yeah, and that was it pretty much, yeah, so I knew it was going to be hot. I'm alright with it, mate, anyway. I'm fine. I know I'm like whiter than white, but I'm alright with it. I don't burn too much.
So we saw the weigh-in today for Usyk and Dubois. Did you take much away from the face-off, and what did you think about the weights?
The weights, they were closer than what I thought. I understand Daniel's and this theory of going in light, because you want to be light on your feet. But I don't subscribe to that, to be honest. I think you're trying to do something that you don't actually do, trying to be as fast as the guy who's naturally faster than you. You're going to burn a lot of energy because it's harder for you to do that. I thought the weight, he needs a physical weight that's present and needs to try and push him back. That's what he needs to do. And so we all know what he needs to do. It's quite simple. The tactics are actually really simple. What he has to do. It's how you do it. That's the difficult part. He's not elusive, Alexander Usyk. He's a fantastic mover around the body. That semicircle around your body, I talk about this all the time, and that's why the word pivot's my favourite word in the dictionary. But that pivot around the body, he does it really close. And to overcome that when you're a big fella is very difficult, because he'll take a few shots in the early rounds, Usyk, but then the constant movement makes you have to turn to throw your shots, and in that little gap when you turn is where he hits you. And he's not a KO artist, but all those shots are heavy. They are heavy. He's 223 pounds. He won't be too much heavier come fight night, come tomorrow night, but he might be 240. So maybe. That's a lot of weight to be taken from punches you don't see coming. I think ultimately that will be how the fight finishes, where Daniel is in the ring after a good effort. I think he has to go for it fast. But everyone says that, but you go in there and take punches going forward and commit yourself. But I think he will have a go. But I think he'll be missing a lot. And then after 5, 6, 7 rounds, probably about 7 rounds, I think he'll be an exhausted figure who's getting hurt and saved by the referee or his corner or dropped and stopped.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope I'm right. Listen, I'm never afraid about being wrong with predictions because it's just my opinion, and I quite often like to be wrong when it's a Brit, certainly a Brit abroad. This is, people talk about the biggest wins abroad, but this is one of the biggest tasks. It really is. Alan Rudkin, the bantamweight from the 60s, he had to go to Tokyo, Melbourne, and then LA for his 3 world title and unsuccessful challenges. They were against 3 great fighters. That's hard. Kevin Lucian back in 97 maybe it was, 96 to 98. There you go. I know it was that. He had to go and box the best welterweight on the planet, finished Trinidad. Yep. Dropped him really, and then stopped. So Andy Holligan went to Mexico to box Julio Cesar Chavez. But this is wrangles up there with them. Insurmountable tasks away from home. Where
Lloyd Hannigan?
No, but he won.
Yeah.
I take it away for the best wins. I'm on about unsuccessful challenges, which I think this will be. But the task, it's such a massive task. It's a real. The Ryder versus Canelo was a huge task. This might be bigger. This might be a bigger gap than that, because Ryder had boxed at world level before. I think that's the difference. I know Daniel's a WBA regular champion, but if boxing fans understand boxing, he hasn't really boxed at world level.
Yeah.
His best opponent is Joe Joyce, which he came up short against, and Joe Joyce unfortunately now has shown that he's slightly below that top tier. Mm-hmm. For now, that might change, but that's how we stand. We just got to talk about realistic expectations. So if he wins, it'll be one of the best wins abroad. It'll be, but I think it's too much of an ask. You haven't got to fight. He might be 35, Usyk, but he's not. I don't think he's slowed down. I think his intelligence is still there. He doesn't take a lot of punches. So there's not a lot of wear and tear on him. You're hoping that he takes it lightly with all what's going on, and also that Fury fight he had, and then that not going ahead. On paper, this is an easy fight for him if he takes it lightly that way, and Daniel jumps on him early. But is Daniel a fast starter? He's a big puncher, Daniel, and he punches correct, and that helps him. Punching inside your body frame that he does, a neat puncher will help him. But he lacks that acceleration and speed in his shots, and I think that will be his downfall. I said this the other day, and I only come out of nowhere into my head. Do you think Daniel Dubois is a better fighter than Anthony Joshua right now? That's the question. If you don't think he is, then how can he beat Usyk? Because Joshua, not similar styles, but similar sort of approaches to the fight. Do you feel? Does he have he probably has a better jab right now because Anthony Joshua lost the confidence in his jab. He doesn't have faster hands, I don't think. He doesn't have faster feet than Joshua right now. Fair about the Joshua in his peak, the Joshua now doesn't have faster feet. Does he take a better shot? I'm maybe not quite sure. We don't know. Maybe I don't think. Probably not. He hasn't really been, except for the Joe's fight. We're not quite sure. So a lot of things stack up against him.
Yeah. So we've also seen that it's been quite a big week for the Hamids. I saw you catching up with him and Spencer Oliver. So have you seen Adam Hamid train, and what's your thoughts about him? Because also, if he does go all the way, he'll be just like yourself and Nassim Hamid, who have in common, you'll be another Yemeni world champion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I never got to watch it off the Yemeni government like Nas did. You got to watch in a car.
Yes.
I got nothing. But anyway, it's so much weight on the kid's shoulders. We've seen it with Campbell Hatton. We're starting to produce some good wins now, but the expectation there is there. I said to Nas, you were never nervous. Are you nervous now? And he went, "Woman," and he was insulted that I said the word nervous in front of him. Like, I'm never nervous. He said, I'm never nervous. Like, I don't worry about it because it's out of my control. But I'm confident the kids, he thinks the kid's a talent. My worry about fighters who have no amateur experience is when things go wrong, you don't know how to react. And also coping without nerves. He's a super confident kid now, and the opponent won't be that good. I understand all that. But the nerves of immediate attention, he's had more than most fighters, I would have thought. But get it when that ring walk in the changing room, when you're putting the bandages on, just before the gloves come on, when the floor manager from the TV says 2 minutes, and you gotta get ready and you're warming up, that's when it hits you. If there's any ghosts of previous fights or any nerves, any fears, they hit you then, and that's what, and that to the ring walk, to walking in the ring, is why you overcome it somehow. You either feed on it, or you just ignore it, or it consumes you. And he has no experience to draw from, so we don't know. And I've seen some training clips, but what can you take from that? Yeah. It's all punch in the bag and the pads. Everything, no sparring it is, so I just don't know. He looks like he got fast hands. He's got long limbs for his size, and he might be, if he has his dad's power. But then I seen an interview with Dominic Ingle. Thank you, Dominic Ingle. Went through the whole family there. I was going to go through, and he said that John said that Adam has the boxing ability and speed of Nas, but the other brother had the power. So that's how you approach a fight there. And I know when you don't have the power, if you don't have natural power like I never had, you have to hone your skills, and that takes a time. So it's a worry. But I hope he's successful, because he did a few. He looks the part, and he got a great backstory because of his dad. And if he can cope with his dad taking more of the limelight than him, like Chris Eubank Jr. had to for early in his career, then he might be successful. And
finally, Hamza Shiraz is on the card also. He's got quite a big task ahead of him against an unbeaten Ukrainian fighter who's a former Olympian. Do you know much about the opponent, and what do you think about the fight?
Yeah, I've seen him. It's going to be hard for Hamza to keep him off, I feel. I know you see the size, you see him at the weight, and you just think, one's about looks about 3
about
foot,
10 inches different.
It looks that way, but then there's also those punches that you got the advantage of hitting him from range, but those punches got a long way to come back as well. So Hamza fights quite well when he draws you on the shots and lands that uppercut pretty good, hooks well, got good power. So he has to start fast and try and keep his opponent on the back foot continuously. Don't let the guy get forward momentum, because he can get in close. He has got fast feet. He has got good head movement. And it's when Hamza gets hit, that's what we're going to see. He's going to get hit hard, and from maybe a position where he can't defend against.
If he gets inside.
Yeah. So I know when you're a tall fighter, and when you're a smaller fighter, when you come in low, you have a better vision. You have a massive scope to look at, target to look at. It means you can pick your shots better. and looking down, it's hard to defend against. So I think that will help. But I do think Hamza to get the win. I do like him. I think this is the acid test for him. And if he gets through this, then he might be the real deal.
So do you think that they'll make the Denzel Bentley fight after, and how do you see that one going if Hamza gets through this?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you're judging Denzel from a defeat. I think. No, he's a good fighter, and I would make him a favourite because he's boxed at a higher level. But he did so well when he boxed for the world title in defeat. But that's always a bad thing to judge him for, I think. If you're talking about going beyond British level. The worry you got with the guys is that they get such a high ranking in organisations, world organisations, that getting people like domestic opponents is almost a risk you don't want to take. So I don't know. Depends on how impressive Hamza is on tomorrow night, on Saturday night. If he does a really good job, then I think they might not want to take the risk. If he scrapes through, then the promotional team in the whole might go, yeah, let's get him and Denzel. Because ultimately, it's who's the most marketable fighter of the two. If Shiraz is the more marketable fighter, which might be the case, not better fighter, but the more marketable fighter, then if he does a really good job tomorrow, then it's too much of a risky fight to take if you're heading towards world level, I feel. So, but for a British boxing fan, it's a great fight. And Denzel's shown a resolve to regroup a couple of times now and come back. So he's a good fighter. I like him a lot. And, yeah, it's an interesting fight. But I would make Denzel the slight favourite right now, but I might have a different view on Sunday morning.
And last one, we've got 43,000 in attendance tomorrow night. Are you looking forward to being in another stadium fight out in here in Wrocław, Poland?
Yeah, stadium fights are always great. They never happen so often when I boxed. I remember when I boxed on Ben and Eubank in Old Trafford. There was only 5 fights on our card that night. I was first on, and but they were so rare back then. There was 2 there was.
Steve Robinson and Nassim Hamid?
No, it was way after. It was way before that. Bruno boxed Lennox Lewis in Cardiff.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I was sulking, the week before, sulking that I didn't get on that bill. And I got a phone call on the Sunday saying, "Do you want to box the next weekend in Old Trafford?" So there was 2. We had never had stadium fights. We had 2 in 7 days of each other. So yeah, and it'd be a great atmosphere. It'd be a pro-Ukrainian crowd, of course, and we understand that. But
it looked a bit fiery at the back there during the weigh-in.
Well, that was weird.
Yeah, there was a fight nearly kicked off there.
But I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good occasion.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Barry. Good to see you and catch up with you. And see you tomorrow night. It's Danny Glover from Fight Fan TV with the one, the only, former world champion Barry Jones.
Nice and down.
That's one. Bless up.